Coleman's dead then. Another victim of piety's cruelty. Perhaps he escaped lightly. Look upon Grigor to see what life entails under... his blackguards, meaning he's surrounded himself with cowards and lackwits, unable to lift a finger without orders. If you're able, traverse the river and murder Gravisius in his own...
Let me tell your future. The kind gem cutter scattered his beautiful craft for the paupers, but greedy hands hide them.
I'll miss a boy. He was always up for a laugh, whether it was at his expense or not. But I wouldn't miss that Clarissa more. Argan's the name, by the way, and it's my honour to... Victaria was a poet what ended up leading a rebellion, right under the nose of Emperor Chittis. But here's what really interests me. Our wordsmith was quite the talented larcenist as well. Pulled off the heist of the century.
I will remind it.
Welcome. A bond of blood breaks, but from the carnage, new bonds may be formed.
The Beatles poet could hide his spoils from Chittis, but not from us, eh? I knew you was the Exile for the job. I'm sure he'd been more than compensated already from Victario's stockpiles, but he's a little extra.
I no longer dream when I sleep. I have a nightmare. The same nightmare over and over. The mirror. It's never my reflection looking back. The first time that mirror appeared to me, it was cold. I walked halfway across this forsaken continent because of an ode. Of jewels and eternity, it's called. For twinkled promises of jewels and eternity, the gemling queen gave her heart and body to the king.
This seems like a good area to build a hideout, but it's filled with monsters. Can you clear it of everything dangerous? Curious. With the death of the last monster here, the very air itself feels different. I wouldn't use the word purified, but you've definitely negated the pile over this place. I'll stay here for now and make...
A bond of blood breaks, but from the carnage, new bonds may be formed.
Write this now in hope that someone may remember. The sun is an orb of blood. Twisted twilight shrouds my eyes. The air reeks of anguish. San has plunged into nightmare. The man who served...
Frankly, I would have been surprised if you hadn't recognized me. Yes, 'tis I, Captain Sigmund Fairgraves, wave tamer, stuck fast in the filthy mud of Rayclast, thanks to one sultry little slave girl. I liberated her. My Allflame, my blessed, damned Allflame. Oh, you want your moment in the firelight now, do you? Please understand that as a gentleman of honor, it pains me greatly to do this. Hard times call for it.
How do we remember you, Fairgraves? Your death will be much celebrated.
Fairgraves was a good man, a fine explorer. He opened the door to many a new world, for better or for worse, usually for worse when it came to it.
An emperor cannot allow himself to become buried in the shadowed vaults of self-doubt, cannot allow thoughts of imagined disaster. Of perplexity, with his eyes set firmly on the rising sun.
There is nothing eternal in this empire of ours, but the names of our day that shall be revered or reviled in the centuries to come. The shadow whispers and simpers at the Monkey King's feet. When the Monkey King puts...
I cannot carry this.
Now there's a familiar face. Before you say anything, yes, I did try to kill you. Inexcusable. I allowed pragmatism to overcome honor in a moment of desperation. Please accept my deepest apologies. What do you say? Can the two of us make a fresh start? Wow! Interested, are we? Oh, splendid! In return, I have a gift or two that I may bestow upon you with a click of my translucent fingers. All you... Look at that! The decanter spiritus. As exquisite today as when I found it all those years. I'm sure you've heard of Malachi by now. Ever the heterodox, he sought otherworldly inspiration by imbibing a substance called ghost wine. the purpose, he created the Decanter Spiritus. I found it on my last visit here. Liquid placed in this... Emperor Chitus was stabbed in the posterior by his own Lord Mayor on the eve of the Purity Rebellion. Chitus's grieving gemlings buried him in the Imperial Gardens, and a plum tree was planted upon his resting place. So that this current form comes with rather frustrating restrictions. It's a small improvement on my last incarnation, but I am a man who used to poke his sticky beak into the furthest corners of the world. Now I can barely cross the road. It was no mean feat. I visited San some 30-odd years ago. Those ghasts, the undying, you call them, scurried up from the sewers.